Welcome everyone to today's fun-filled flip lesson where we'll be looking at why we should protect. So last lesson we looked at protection, what it is, and what we found out is protections are actions, assistance, support by national governments to give artificial advantage to domestic producers over the foreign producers. But today we'll be looking at why we should protect. What are the reasons of why we should protect our domestic industries? Can't we leave them on their own 2 feet so that they can compete in the global economy on their own to fend for themselves? Well, the reasons to protect, and the first one that we have is the infant industry argument. And it's this argument that for newly established, new kind of infant industries that are just establishing themselves need some sort of support in order to be competitive in the global market. And so we see support such as grants, assistance packages, or access to subsidized borrowing, and all of these support has the aim of helping this domestic industry in its early stages to reduce their cost of production, to expand their scales of production, and to just help them really get a level up and be competitive in the global market in the long term. What's another argument that we can have? Well, the other argument is the dumping argument. And it's this argument that we need to protect these domestic industries from foreign industries who engage in this practice of dumping. And so what is dumping is that they actually export goods to a country at a ridiculously low price. To a point where domestic producers actually cannot compete. They're actually kind of forced out of the business because they cannot have a market share. And so the argument is that we need to protect domestic producers from these foreign industries who are engaged in this practice of dumping. And so what other arguments are there? Well, the third is tariffs, that we need to save local jobs, that we need to protect our domestic employment. So what's the theory behind this? Well, the theory is that as we help our domestic industries in terms of helping them to be competitive in the global market, we're actually ensuring our domestic demand for our goods and services, or ensuring that domestic industries are competitive on the global market. And within that, we can actually maintain or increase our domestic employment. But how about other arguments that actually don't have to do with anything economic? Well, there's the defense reason. And so there's this reason that we need to protect our domestic industries in areas that are pivotal to the security of the country. So things like weapon manufacturing, so that in the event of a war, we're actually self-sufficient, that we can produce our own defense because we have the domestic industries for it. However, there are other arguments that come into play, and so we look at 1 and 2, and these are all related to social and moral reasons why we should protect domestic industries. And so it's this argument that we need to discourage international or foreign industries that are engaged in unethical practices such as environmental damage or cheap foreign labor through child labor or use of prisoners. And so with this in mind, as we protect our domestic industries and we kind of put barriers against the foreign industries engaged in these practices, then we can discourage these unethical and morally incorrect kind of behavior of firms internationally. And so there are many reasons why we should protect. Infant industry argument, defense argument, but do they actually work? Do these protections actually help the domestic industries to be more competitive? Do they actually save both the domestic industries and also protect the domestic economy? So next lesson I want you to bring out these handouts and your notes and we investigate if these reasons are actually legit.